The ideas that gave birth to our nation are the ideas that our nation is resistant to right now, and we should talk about that all the time.
In a world where narratives are shaped by corporations and gatekeepers, independent voices matter more than ever. Badlands Media brings together citizen journalists, researchers, and independent thinkers.
The truth is triggering.
Question the narrative. Explore the facts.
It's authenticity, courage, resilience.
Search for the truth others won't.
It's not about being first or being right.
The information war is changing.
It's about being authentic.
Embrace the friction.
Embrace the friction.
Shut the f*** up.
Authentically antagonizing. Join the movement.
I'm going to say how I feel.
Follow Badlands Media.
This is about the future.
The Badlands. What are the Badlands? Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Good morning. It's morning. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to The Choice Season 3, Episode 4. Very excited about today's show. They're back from their 2x2s, and we see, the human nature of it all. And it's been a minute since we were on this show. So number one thing I heard from folks last week is that they were bummed that The Choice wasn't happening. So
yeah. It was GART was a great time. And this was a really good episode, and actually a really timely episode. I'm very offended that Dallas Jenkins would dare portray all the apostles as Jesus. How dare they how dare they lay their hands on people and heal them?
Yeah, I'm still annoyed that my this looks like Isaiah 6 imagery didn't get more uptake, because the imagery in that photo is very similar to the imagery described in Isaiah 6 when the angel comes down and touches Isaiah's mouth with a glowing hot coal and he becomes a prophet. But apparently it's not prophet. He's not an angel. He's a doctor.
Oh, wait. I have to play. Well, I'm going to pull it up, but I have to play this AI that is so funny. And if you can't laugh at this, then you take yourself and life just a little too seriously. And I would encourage you to lighten up a little bit. One of the things actually that I did talk about, the number of people at GART, and I feel like this show is probably the show that since we started doing it, that I discuss the most with people at GART now. But I
know, me too.
What I think people say they appreciate the most about the show is not The Choice, but The Chosen, is how it made all of the biblical figures way more accessible, way more humane, their human side, the way that they present Jesus as very self-deprecating, and he has a great sense of humor, and he's not a super serious guy, he's willing to be goofy and all that. That's, I think, a very accurate representation, it seems to me, of
we're made in his image, right?
Yeah. And
we're goofy and nonsensical a lot of the time. And I think that, God invented humor. So there's that aspect of it. Some people take themselves way too seriously, and that leads to a pretty miserable existence, in my opinion. But the memes were hilarious. There was definitely some borderline blasphemous, if not outright blasphemous stuff. Caleb and I, driving back from Nashville, argued about whether Trump was retweeting himself as Jesus or not for 4 hours. We argued about it. So when Zach and John had the debate on Monday night, Spaceless Conspiracies, about that topic, I was like, oh, I just did this because I just got home Monday. And I was like, oh, I just finished this argument as well. I personally don't think that he was, I'm not going to say he was portraying himself as a doctor, but I did not think he was portraying himself as Jesus. But
yeah, for sure. I mean, and there's countless ancient paintings of the past, like the Renaissance and stuff, that portray other biblical figures in a similar light. And they're obviously not trying, the painters weren't trying to present them as Jesus. But this AI was hilarious.
And I thought it was me as a doctor, and had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one. So I just heard about it, and I said, how did they come up with that? It's supposed to be me as a doctor making people better, and I do make people better. I make people a lot better.
I mean, these AI are getting so good that they could like, it looks like so real. And yeah, I mean, and the comedic value of like him saying what he said right there, like dressed as Jesus, like that's funny, especially in light of like the reaction where everyone got so angry and up in arms about it. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that is how does God treat that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I also find it hilarious. I don't know if that says bad things about me, but I also find the meme where you have Jesus like hitting a joint really deeply and saying "flood it again" about the earth. I find that hilarious too, and maybe that means that I'm a terrible person. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the True Detective meme. It's like the one it's Matthew McConaughey like hitting the cigarette, right?
Yeah.
But they swapped in Jesus. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, but see, like, and this is, I think, worth discussing for a second. I do think that there's a pattern that, pattern recognition. That's something that I've just like always find myself engaging in. And the pattern that I'm recognizing here is that it seems like he's been targeting Christians for triggering a lot lately.
Yeah.
And I think all of this is by design. The second I saw him post that, the only reason I winced is because I was like, ooh, like this is going to cause a huge backlash. But then I immediately was like, oh, but that's what he's been doing this whole time, because he literally posted on Easter Sunday, praise be to Allah. Like,
yeah, he sure did. It's interesting. So this was part of what Caleb and I were debating on the way home is we're still dealing with mean tweets. Right. So it's Trump and mean tweets. Now they're on Truth now, but people take and put his stuff on every platform. So essentially still mean tweets. But in Trump 1.0, the mean tweets were definitely targeting the left, the censorship apparatus, the kind of the hyper Trump deranged. And it does feel like in this second administration of President Trump that he is targeting the right, that his social media game and he's a master troll. Right. And he's always been a master troll, and he's definitely trolling, but he's trolling the right. And that's really interesting to me, because we've talked quite a bit on this network, not necessarily on this show, but on this network, about Trump as final boss. Like, if the goal is, it doesn't matter which party controls our government, but whether our government is controlled by the people and we're giving it back to you, the people. If that's the goal, have we achieved the goal if everybody is begging Donald Trump to save them? Well, no, I don't think we have, actually. I think we've missed the mark on that. And it seems to me that in the second Trump administration, the trolling is targeting like people. He's trying to piss us off. He's trying to piss off the base. He's trying to piss off the Christians. And, there's so much. I forget. There was one, I think it was a Colorado specific post that came out, and somebody in my comments on, I like retweeted it or something, and somebody in my comments was like, did I miss the memo where everything Republican has to be religious now? And it was like, well, actually, like, yeah, it is. That's weird, right? Like, this is a topic that people have been running away from for a long time, but now in the age of the super real Iranian war, right? And the memes of coming out of Iran, the social media
next level, like God tier shit posting from Iran.
Yeah, and it's like all watching all of that is like, there's something else going on here, and this something else seems to be intended to irritate and trigger Trump's base, which is really interesting to me.
Yeah, well, and like one of the things that I think I mentioned this on stage at GARP, and maybe I didn't complete the thought. One of the things that I worried about especially at the end of Joe Biden's very real presidential term, was watching everybody move to the Republican Party. Like, even like the apolitical people like Elon Musk, like everyone moved to the Republican Party. Like, the Republicans are going to save us. The Republicans are going to save us. And I started to get a little nervous, because I'm like, shit, we're going to go into in 2022, Steve Bannon was like, this midterm is going to be the end of the Democrat Party, like forever. And I was like, I mean, I guess like some people are going to celebrate that because that's like obviously they have come to represent like absolute degeneracy and just the worst of the worst in terms of ideas. But then that means we move into a one party system, like a one party rule, right? And not only that, but we go running into the arms of like Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell, right? And so now everyone's freaking out because they're like, Trump's blowing it. He's blowing it. Like he had this moment where he had everyone on the same team and he had everyone moving in the same direction and he's blowing it. And I'm like, I don't think he's blowing it. I think he's, to your point, I think he's sabotaging their plan, which was to rebrand themselves as MAGA, survive the Trump era, and then as soon as Trump's gone, they're like, all right, throw the hat away, and they're like, yeah, like glad.
Yeah, and I had an argument last night because we had our caucus and assembly. I talked about that a little bit at live DPH. A very sort of schizophrenic update on what happened in Colorado, but I had this maddening conversation with a Republican, a deeply involved Republican member who's coming out of the caucus system and everything, and just kind of raging. And this person said to me, "I want the winning. We were told we're going to have so much winning." And I said, you realize that wasn't directed at Republicans, right? It wasn't that the Republicans are going to win so many fake elections that you're going to get tired of winning fake elections. It was that the American people are going to gain ground again, reclaim their sovereignty, and have wins, maybe with accountability, maybe with policy changes, deregulation, putting the branches of government back in their constitutional boxes. That's always what that's meant to me. And hearing this kind of angsty reaction, this like rage about, but Republicans aren't winning yet. And I'm sitting here going, yeah, I mean, like, I think if we're finishing the job, Republicans are done. Yeah. Like we're like the goal is, and I've been saying this now for a while because I see it, and maybe I'm just crazy, right? But I see it that the DSA, the radical Marxist communists, are doing a great job of tearing apart the establishment Democrats. They are, exposing their drama and their corruption. Their ideas are terrible. Don't get me wrong, but they're a wrecking ball to the Democrat establishment. America First is supposed to be the wrecking ball to the Republican establishment. And then we've got a clean slate and we can battle on ideas. And if it's America First battling the DSA, we win that battle all day long on a battlefield of ideas. Why is everybody afraid of this? Well, because we're terrified of letting go of these two-party monsters that literally are the core, the root of a lot of the problems that we have with corruption. They go back to the parties. And I promise you guys, we'll get to the show in just a second.
Yeah, this it's like it's merged. It's like we don't talk about like topical politics or whatever, but now it's merged. Like now religion and politics has merged so much that this show has now become about that, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not us. It's not us making all of the geopolitics about religion. That's the people trying to do the things in the region that are doing that. But like this Eric Swalwell thing, right? That could not happen without the party power. Without the party power controlling and influencing, who knows? Because it was an open secret, right? We're told it was an open secret, and everybody knew that he was an abusive pervert and a rapist, allegedly. And everybody knew it, but nobody did anything about it until it was politically expedient to do so. That the apparatus that allows that to happen, for a rapist to hide in the Congress, that apparatus needs to be destroyed. And I think we're seeing it. I think that's what we're doing right now, but the Republicans are having a real hard time.
Well, it's like, I'm not mad. I'm just like disappointed. And not at Trump, not at all. I love Trump. I'm kind of just disappointed in our movement because people seem to forget that the entire reason that Donald Trump got elected, the entire reason that MAGA took over the country is because the Republican Party had utterly failed us, like utterly in every sense of the word. And then all of a sudden, like Trump started getting all these victories in his first term, and people started to associate that with the Republican Party instead of with Donald Trump. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, here comes Joe Biden and the big bad Democrats. Well, now we have to go after them with the Republicans. Like the Republicans have to win this battle. And it's like, do you people not realize that the mission here is not to save the Republican Party? the mission is not to save the government. The mission is to save our culture and our society. And in order to do that, we have to destroy the Republican Party and completely revamp the government, like abolish and replace the government effectively, in my opinion.
Agreed. Yeah. All right. So enough of that. We're gonna talk about season 3, episode 4 now. But before we do, we are going to hear from a couple of our incredible sponsors. And first up, we have Pet Club.
Science proves that a healthy immune system is the body's first defense against the smallest of ailments to the most catastrophic. Coriolus versicolor is the most sought-after, all-natural supplement for both humans and pets to help boost the immune system. There are over 400 studies worldwide on its effectiveness in humans, including Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, MD Anderson Cancer Center, and now from the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine. Together, we can help reverse this terrible tide now plaguing your loved ones and give them the immune-boosting supplements that they need.
BadlandsMedia.tv/Pet Club, immune-boosting supplements for you and your pets. So check them out. And then yesterday we did Tax Revolt Day at Soft Disclosure. It was the best sales day that we had all year, because I think people are fed up and everybody's into the parallel economy. We've extended it one more day. I don't have an ad for that. It's promo code REVOLT, though, and it gets you 17.76% off, one of the highest discounts we've ever done on Soft Disclosure. To tell you about the products, here is Jay's mom.
In a quiet town at where beards grow wild and lips dare to crack without permission, one woman has suffered.
Hi, I'm Margie, and I'm Jadriet's mother.
But the world would come to know her by another name, Madame Margie, the moistureless.
Jay came home with a lip balm. It's called Soft Disclosure.
With one miraculous application, her power awakened.
Within one day, my lips were healed. It was miraculous.
But salvation came at a cost. For in the shadowed lands known only as Badlands,
You boys at Badlands are so handsome.
she saw potential.
You're covering up your beautiful faces.
And she made her demand.
Shave them all off,
Or face the consequences. Beard oil will not save you now.
and you'll look so much better.
This summer, moisturize wisely and guard your beard. Because Madame Margie, the moistureless, is always watching.
I mean, it's a little obvious. She got to ghost. She had a beard. It was great. Right. We all loved it. It was fantastic. And Margie.
That's right. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. She got me. I mean, she scared the crap out of me, and so I shaved.
Yeah, we love Jay's mom.
I'm gonna blame her. I'm gonna blame her for my baby face now.
Yeah, it is her fault. Well, I've been blaming her since you shaved. So
yeah.
Today's show is also brought to you by Native Path Krill Oil, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. But love those guys, love Native Path, love their collagen peptides, their electrolyte and energy supplements, their little wand thing that mixes everything together is great. And now they've got the krill oil. So we'll talk about those in a little bit. So let's get into season 3, episode 4 of The Choice. What was your reaction to this episode?
Well, the opening sequence, which we should play, is for sure my favorite sequence in the whole series, I think. And I remember the first time watching it, hit me like a ton of bricks, because that aspect of the Bible had been lost on me somewhat. I mean, I think I remember being reading it, hearing about this, reading about this, and learning about it as a child in Sunday school, but not extensively, not in Sunday school. I think I read about it later as an adult, but it didn't quite resonate with me as much as it did seeing it, especially the exorcism, the exorcism stuff, because that's just something in the whole series that is not quite discussed very widely, I think, in Bible study settings, I guess you'd say, just the number of exorcisms and the exorcisms that are performed. I think maybe in the Catholic Church it is, but in my experience, in the Protestant Church and the Anglican Church, not at all. And so, yeah, I mean, setting that sequence aside, which I think is fantastic. Like the sending them off 2 by 2, I just always thought of them as preaching and not as much about performing the miracles. And it's like seeing them perform the miracles. That is powerful. And then I actually thought the rest of the episode was awesome. This is some of the best storytelling, I think, is like in the next couple episodes.
And this is a 2-part episode. So this is clean part 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it's setting up. So a much of this episode is story showrunner invention. They are giving you the backstory of the very real events that happen in clean part 2, where we have direct hits on biblical healing.
Yeah,
that takes place. So we are introduced to the bleeding woman, and we are introduced to Jairus and his daughter. Well, we met Jairus, but we're introduced to his daughter, and those stories are going to kind of come full circle in the episode next week. But there's so much packed in to this episode. So we have it's a long intro. We'll play it here in a second. But it's a long intro, and they do a good job of showing they're healing the blind. There's one scene where it appears that a woman can hear now, so the deaf as well. They heal the lame. They cast out demons, as you said, and these are all biblical things that it says, that Jesus gave them the power to do, and the showrunners are laying out, showing them exactly doing it. And you see them in 2 by 2, and you see sort of the one healing and the other one preaching while they're healing. I think it's really well done. You get kind of this, time lapse of them being gone, and then they're all back together in Capernaum, and they're humans again.
Yeah, exactly.
And we see and I love that aspect of this, because it's very easy to think, well, they were called and then they were holy, and they didn't sin, and they're we should emulate and follow their example, and not the fact that they were attempting to emulate and follow Jesus's example. So I thought that was really good. Why don't we do Susie Q? It's season 3, episode 4. Why don't we play the intro of the healings? Hey, pause it for a second, if you would. Ghost, pause it. All right, he might have stepped away. I'm going to say goodbye to YouTube, because we're playing clips now. So if you're watching on YouTube, come join us on X or Rumble. We love you guys. Hit the thumb and come join us over in Rumble. Thank you. We're going to say goodbye to YouTube really quickly. So please hit the like button over on YouTube and come join us on Rumble, Badlands Media, or on X, Badlands Media. And we'll resume now.